What's good with y'all, man? We back with a motherfucking another one. You got why did 2010s look like that? I'm born in '04, so I got some experience. You know what I'm saying? We got some experience in this, bro. Let's go ahead and reminisce. Let's go ahead and reminisce, man.
And swag. The internet was a very different place in the 2010s. Memes used to look like this, and YouTube was filled with content.
Yeah, it used to be mad.
Today.
That's one thing. Memes now is full top tier. TikTok is on a run right now. Matter of fact, nigga. Our memes is 100 times better than you know what I'm saying.
Regardless
the memes
of
now
you
is 100 times better.
Vaporwave, or spent way too long watching shooting star memes, you might be wondering where all of this went and what it even was. So, as things get stranger and stranger, we'll dig into the 2010s to try and find out why.
Forgot about that nigga, man. Damn, man. I ain't never knew how to do that trick shot shit. I left it up to y'all niggas, man.
It's 2024 and everything has a name.
I used to be a fucking bot back then, nigga. I ain't get good at Call of Duty till like 2019,
It was most
nigga.
prevalent from 2008 to 2016. There's a suspicious correlation between the popularity of the word epic and the use of images like these. Common elements were rainbows, cats, dinosaurs, unicorns, and lasers. People were obsessed with lasers. Outside of memes and GIFs, this aesthetic could be seen all over the internet. The intro of Uncle Grandpa is a good example, showing him riding a tiger propelled by rainbows. It was also used in games, with Robot Unicorn Attack from 2010 exemplifying the style.
Let's just keep it on it, man. Memes took over, cause niggas started making memes, man. When niggas started making memes, this is when it became top tier. Let's go ahead and get, you know what I'm saying? Let's go ahead and get that out the way, though. That's facts, though.
Other instances can be found in
niggas gotta agree to that. Niggas can't deny that, man.
Puggle and Techno Kitten Adventure. If you were browsing YouTube in 2011, you might have even seen Le Internet Medley, which boasted over 40 memes in one song. With the flying Nyan cats and rainbow puke, there isn't much more.
See, this is when the white niggas had had the memes.
Why was
and
this
shit.
kind of humor?
We took over, bro. We really took
While
over.
all of these were ironic, rainbows and unicorns formed the comedic basis of too many memes to count. Nyan Cat was close to the top of the most viewed videos in 2011.
I won't watch no
making it a
Nyan
cultural
Cat though.
phenomenon. This, and the popularity of things like shooting stars, influenced the fascination with combining explosions and lasers to make the most epic image possible. To truly appreciate this, you've got to understand that at the time, random equaled funny. Coupling a mythical, peaceful creature like a unicorn with destruction and chaos didn't only look cool, it was unexpected and therefore humorous. This and the popularity of My Little Pony are big reasons videos like pink fluffy unicorns dancing on rainbows have tens of millions of views. If we look at some other trends from around 2011, this begins to make a bit more sense. With social media on the rise, it was easier to make and share clips to a wider range of people. The idea of trolling was also gaining traction, meaning that humour often leaned into the absurd and confusing. Naturally, Awesome Sauce perfectly slots into this landscape, with its use of random combinations and niche internet memes.
I used to laugh at that troll first though. My fault, excuse me. Bless me.
If you never had XX_ as part of your username, you were doing something wrong. The brain rot of today pales in comparison to the content
Snoop Dogg, that Snoop Dogg shit used to.
You might have watched MLG Peppa Pig, Game of Thrones, or any number of trickshot edits. If it was really bad, maybe you even got caught downloading green screen packs and piecing together your own. Some of the more iconic visuals were Snoop Dogg, random quickscopes, Cool Ranch Doritos, and COD hit markers. Pyrocynical was a major perpetrator, being the man behind MLG Teletubbies and furry inflation art. I find it crazy to look back and see the views on some of these videos. Many are well above 10 million, which speaks to the absolute chokehold they had on the internet. Another recurring detail was Illuminati Confirmed, which would often involve a text-to-speech voice linking random things to the all-seeing eye. With that and enough explosions and air horns, you could turn any no-scope into a work of art.
I still laughed at that shit.
Outside
what
of
the
the
fuck
visuals,
is that?
they featured numerous sound effects and songs that are probably imprinted deep within your temporal lobe. If you weren't humming it already,
movie
My Hope Will
series
Never
right
Die
there, man.
or
Harry
Hold
Potter,
On
that's that
was the
fire
most
shit.
iconic, with the X-Files theme
Books
also
and
playing a
movie.
major role. The horrific audio of successful trickshot reactions was featured a lot too. If you're a real one, comment with the rest of this phrase.
Oh, baby!
These kinds of edits can be traced back to as early as 2011. Specifically,
I don't remember exactly what he said, but I remember that shit.
With the green screen overlay of a quickscope, it provides the first known example of an MLG-style montage. The reason such videos rose to prominence is in the name: Major League Gaming. Professional esports teams would release highlight reels that went on to inspire fans to begin making their own. With many of these simply being replays recorded by an iPhone, they were usually much worse in quality and far more amusing. As the internet did its thing, these became more...
Me and my niggas wanted to record some shit from BO2. Nigga, I remember recording that shit for them niggas. I think I was using my homeboy iPad. And I was recording from the TV like this, bro. It was bad.
And more deranged.
Did that video long
Eventually
gone,
morphed
bro.
into the
I don't even know the
masterpieces
title
that
name.
plagued the 2010s. Unlike the memes of today, MLG lasted a few years before losing traction, disappearing, for the most part, in 2017.
But that nigga Cameron and Demarie, bro, they was playing each other, bro. I was recording
Even though
for
the
them
last
niggas.
decade was only a few years ago, things have changed a lot online. Here on YouTube, this is especially apparent. A perfect case study for this is the rise and fall of Let's Plays. Let's Plays are the reason many of your favourite YouTubers are your favourite YouTubers. Broadly, this style of video involved commentary over clips of a video game that focused on the player's experience of it rather than a guide or a walkthrough. The general format is credited to Michael Sawyer, or Slowbeef, whose 2007 playthrough of The Immortals is widely considered to be the first modern Let's Play. As YouTube began to take off, this style of video did as well. People like PewDiePie would emerge with wildly successful
My
series
sis
like
used to
his
watch
horror
the fuck out of
playthroughs. The draw
PewDiePie,
here
man.
wasn't just the game, it was his reactions and experience of it. By naming enemies and objects like Stefano, he built up his own lore inside these videos that kept people coming back regardless of the game he was playing. Markiplier found similar success with his Five Nights
my
at Freddy's
sister
Let's
used to
Plays. The first of which
I
was
watched him a
uploaded
little
in
bit. I
August
ain't
of
watching that much,
2014
though.
and currently sits
But my
at over
sister did put me on him,
100 million
though.
views. Today, however, Let's Plays are seemingly a thing of the past, at least as a method of blowing up. Arguably, this is mostly due to the oversaturation of gaming content on the site. Making a video titled Let's Play XYZ Episode 3 isn't as likely to take off anymore in a sea of very similar videos. The current landscape does, however, favour challenge videos with an interesting premise, like the Fallout series by It's Jarbo. Another reason Let's Plays have disappeared is that they haven't. They've just moved. Instead of watching a YouTube video, much of the audience for Let's Plays has shifted over to streaming. Here they can tune in whenever
I
they want
gotta
to
get
watch
on
a
my
content
shit on my
creator they
streamer
like,
shit.
play the game for
I be
much longer
bullshitting.
periods of time. Moving on, if you ever watched the Cake Trilogy by Filthy Frank, iDubbbz and Max Mofo, you likely remember when shock humour reigned supreme. By around 2016, this had come to a peak, with gaming content becoming slightly less popular. In an interview with Trash Taste, PewDiePie refers to this as the Filthy Frank era, a time when even he adapted to the change by making edgier content with a raspier voice.
Hey guys, can I take your boyfriend,
Bro, I ain't been sneezing, coughing all day. I type record now, I'm all of a sudden they want to sneeze and cough and shit, bro.
Ryan?
This was partially the byproduct
Like
of
what,
ambiguity
bruh?
surrounding YouTube's content policies. There wasn't as clear of a line between unacceptable and acceptable practices.
Oh, yeah, I used to
People
laugh
were
at stupid
maintaining
shit like
high
that right
viewerships
there, though,
and
yeah.
growing exponentially while saying and doing things that would be pulled from the site today. For example, the Cake Trilogy was retroactively removed following a more recent...
Who was them niggas when his pops used to like crash out at them white niggas, bro? That shit used to be funny, bro. His pops used to like spaz on niggas. Like, I used to think that shit was real. Like, they had like a Thanksgiving one. Nigga flipped the whole table over, fucked the whole thing. Bro, I'm thinking that shit was real as a young, and I'm like, bruh, on Thanksgiving? But I forgot their name, bruh.
This
Niggas gotta know what I'm
likely
talking
reminded
about,
YouTube that
though,
they still
man.
existed and didn't align with the updated content guidelines. In 2017, we saw the beginning of this. with
Ain't that nigga
the
acting now? The nigga that was on the
Apocalypse.
left?
I remember at the time.
I think he was
this felt
acting.
like a huge
I think I saw him on some
deal, with
movie.
many large channels being legitimately concerned about their income. The
Hey,
term
Josh,
describes a mass withdrawal of advertisers from YouTube following several large-scale controversies. Many were no longer comfortable showing ads on content that wasn't family friendly, resulting in some channels receiving ads while others didn't. For creators like Filthy Frank, this made it all but impossible to make money from their videos. This meant that there was less incentive to make edgy, humorous content, and it quickly declined in popularity. Some of these YouTubers adapted and continue to thrive on YouTube today. Others, like Frank, haven't been seen since 2017. I have, however, found an artist called Joji who sounds strangely similar to Pink Guy.
Hey, dude, nigga, he could still be making videos, bro. My sister,
hard to
damn,
categorize something
damn,
as
Maya, you kind of put me on
unpredictable
some
as memes,
people,
let
bro. I
alone
just don't
analyze
know.
their
She
use
put me
through
on
entire
everybody back in the day. Now I'm
decades.
thinking about it. Damn.
Thanks to Reddit
She put me
users
on him
like
too.
GitHub, there's been many attempts to organize them into specific eras.
Shout out to my
Today,
sister,
we'll be
man.
focusing on
She
three.
put me on
It's
that.
the
Some decent
2010s.
amount of niggas, man.
Rage, dank, and surreal. Starting with Rage, this term is derived from Rage Comics, which began in 2008 on sites like 4chan.
Speaking of your age, when this nigga your age going streaming, man? He been
These would
bullshitting.
typically be short, with 4 panels based around humorous or irritating real-life experiences. The common thread was a collection of so-called rage faces made in MS Paint. You'll recognise Trollface, Rage Guy, Why You Know Guy, and Serial Guy. This became more widespread with the inception of r/f in 2009. Funnily enough, this is still active, although not nearly as prolific. Top and bottom text memes were pretty big at this time as well, slapped on top of images like Bad Luck Brian, Overly Attached Girlfriend, and Boromir. These all followed simple formulas that anyone could relate to and make themselves.
So
All it
corny,
required
bro.
was
This shit
internet
was so
connection,
corny,
the
bro.
impact font, and a dream. As 2013 rolled around, we can identify a shift into the dank meme era. Here, memes became considerably
Fully
more
remember
abstract and less centered around understandable and repetitive tropes like these. This period encapsulates the peak of MLG, the use of these classes, and Shrek is love, Shrek is life. Still, these were far from the most iconic. 9+10, Harambe, Vape Nation, We Are Number One, and Do You Know the Way all
Vine, man,
emerged in
Vine.
the same time frame. Instagram meme accounts started to become huge, all as part of a multi-platform ecosystem that produced, propelled, and modified memes throughout their life cycle. A big reason some of these were so bizarre and nonsensical was that Gen Z was growing up and becoming increasingly active on social media. By
Yup,
using
yup.
themes and references that only they could understand, they distanced themselves from older generations and formats.
Oh,
This
niggas.
is also why some of them were quite edgy, with all of it playing a role in forming their own distinct online identity. You can see this reflected in the creators who were popular among the demographic. As I mentioned before, if you weren't watching Let's Plays, you might have tuned into Max Mofo, iDubbbz, or Filthy Frank, who had collaborations
Oh,
that
none of them
spawned some of
niggas
the
is.
most shared memes and phrases. A perfect example of this is the green screen of It's Time to Stop, which appeared in hundreds of edits on multiple platforms. Next up is the Surreal era, that kicked off in the late 2010s. This was home to deep fried memes, crab rave, and of course, the release of Fortnite. To be honest, things started to take a
I
turn
still laugh at them
for the
deep
worse.
fried
Deep-fried
memes, I ain't
made
gonna
by
lie,
running an
bruh.
image through a filter over
They still
and
give me
over
some time.
until
It
became
depends what it
awkward
is, though. It
and
depends what it
illegible.
is.
This would be combined with an equally ridiculous piece of text, if any at all.
Like, that shit up
Surreal
there, I
memes,
wanna
on
laugh
the
at
other
that
hand,
shit. The
often
shit, but
featured
yeah.
this guy. He was associated with things like the layers of irony and the term angery, popping up everywhere online. Mr. Orange, or Orang, is another example. Consistent with its name, this humor
I don't know
operated
these
on a
niggas. I
similar
don't know
premise
this
to much
shit, though.
older memes. To be random and confusing was to be funny. Not many of these made sense, and
I ain't gonna lie, bro.
it was often that. and
I ain't know he was gonna be
absurdity
talking about memes.
that
I ain't
made
gonna lie.
them
I thought it was gonna be
entertaining.
some other shit, but. Oh, he
Happy
just
Wheels,
okay. Right
Balloons
when I
Tower
said that, he
Defense,
got
and
off.
The
Okay,
Impossible
he got off
Quiz
the top
have
right when I
one
said
thing
that.
in common. They are all flash games. The mid-2000s and the early 2010s are considered the golden age for this kind of gaming.
Happy
Most of
Wheels,
my
man.
exposure to these titles was on Cool Maths games, where I'd spend hours playing Fireboy and Watergirl and Papa's Diarrhea. I distinctly remember spamming the
Some
source
lonely
until I
niggas
had
was
to
playing
stack
that
up
by
pretty
theyself.
quickly,
Lonely niggas.
selling it for $0 and then quitting the game. Turning back time even further, Flash first released in 1996.
Hey.
People eventually figured out that it was possible to make games on it, with many of them starting to pop up in the early 2000s. The website Newgrounds emerged at a similar time.
Yep, I
It
know
soon
that
became
one,
a
know
massive
that one.
platform for user-generated Flash games. This website made it possible for almost anyone to produce, share, and play others' work online, with the only requirement being a clickable link. Of course, these games weren't limited to Newgrounds, as they could be embedded and accessed through any other website, like Cool Maths games. This meant that if your game wasn't received well in one place, there was always a chance it could take off in another.
Overmade
As a result,
run, bro.
it's
You
no
were a
surprise
fucking
that some
legend,
of these
nigga.
games became massive.
Nigga need to give you
Happy
a
Wheels
prize for
was,
something, nigga.
still
You need
is,
something.
Huge. YouTubers like PewDiePie and Markiplier did Let's Plays that received millions of views.
Nigga need a
with
award. He
Jacksepticeye
need some shit,
uploading
bro.
as recently as April 2024. By now, you've likely heard that Flash is no longer a thing, but you might be surprised to learn that the end of Flash games was heralded by Steve Jobs way back in 2010.
Wait, what?
In his famous Thoughts on Flash letter, he criticised Adobe for Flash's security issues, poor performance, and the fact that it was a closed system.
Hey, nah,
This
bro,
meant that
you
Apple
ain't.
would have less control over the software and any bug fixes, being one of the main reasons they refused to support it on iOS. As the years
Why you gotta
passed
be
and
hold
things
up?
like
RP though, why you
HTML5
gotta
rose
be
to
hold up?
prominence and offered more
We fuck with
security,
that. We fuck with
Flash
cool
sped
man.
towards the inevitable.
Gotta do some hard times in class, nigga. Switching back and forth to the test, right back to cool math, nigga. Niggas know, man. Like real niggas know, man. I used to love that Johnny upgrade, bro. Like, you starting off ass and then you boss up and shit. But I ain't gonna lie, I ain't never killed. I ain't never beat the boss. I just like bossing up and then getting all the coins and shit. But
Soon enough, Adobe announced its end of life in 2017.
I felt like
and
Scarface
Flash
or
took its
something, nigga, I
last
don't know.
breath in 2020. Thankfully, many of these games were preserved, and it's entirely possible to still play them. This isn't to say, however, that thousands weren't lost to time.
yeah.
If you recognise this image, you most likely remember Vaporwave. This picture is the cover of Floral Shop, an album made by the artist Vectroid. The most iconic song from the selection was Lisa Frank 420. This was used everywhere, in memes, edits, and often as part of YouTube outros. Of course, Vaporwave was much more than just a subgenre of music. It was also a distinct and fascinating aesthetic that began on the internet. Common features included retro 3D graphics, pink and purple pastels, dolphins, and foliage. After its inception in the early years of the decade, Vaporwave began to rapidly spread over numerous platforms. Whether you found it on commentary channels or songs on Bandcamp, it quickly became undeniably huge, peaking at around 2015. There was even an entire game called Mall Quest made in this style. Copies of this can still be found online, although the original version was taken down. It was described as a procedurally generated shopping sim, and it actually looked
I don't
pretty
know none of
cool.
this shit. I
Returning to
don't
design,
know
you
no
might
ball
notice
on
that
this.
For an aesthetic born in the 2010s, it feels a bit out of place. That's because most of the imagery you're seeing here was heavily inspired by the 80s and 90s. This transcended architecture, with one of the most influential artifacts being a game. Echo the Dolphin, for the Sega Genesis, informed music and aesthetics alike, largely responsible for the heavy use of dolphins in design. Looking at Floral Shop, one of the songs is even named after this title. If you were big on Vaporwave in the 2010s, there's a good chance you recall some of its numerous subgenres. I've mentioned this before, but one of my personal favourites is Mallsoft. Being quite liminal, this would pair shops and plazas with subtle edits to bring out their colour. Another recognisable style is Synthwave. While sharing similar elements to Vaporwave,
Okay,
it's
I know that
actually
shit on
an
that
entirely
left.
separate
That
aesthetic.
shit look on the left.
Where
look
it
familiar,
celebrates
though.
the neon colours and media from the 80s, Vaporwave presents a more satirical and at times political reflection of the 80s and 90s. Synthwave is responsible for all of the backgrounds you had that looked like this. Endless grids, cityscapes, and cars. I don't remember how many times I put on one of these videos, but it was definitely more than once. Anyway, unlike other aesthetics in this video, Vaporwave and Synthwave are still active in smaller online communities. While they are far from their previous position in the mainstream, you can still find new releases if you know where to look. You either have it or you
Yeah,
don't.
I know
Subscribe,
this
you
shit.
Definitely do. Swap.
My big sis, bro, my older sister, she was like most definitely fully a part of this era, nigga. If I pull the pictures up, man. My other sister, she put me on some shit too, nigga. She put me on the KDs, the LeBron. She put me on all them shits. I ain't gonna lie.
Bag, in this
No
context,
cap.
described a style of fashion that was very popular in the early 2010s. While the word itself had been around for years before, pieces like You're a Jerk by the New Boys jump-started this new manifestation, which continued for a couple years in the form of music and clothing. To be swagged out involved flat brim caps with the brim intact, racks spent on clothes and more hats, and your front and back
What?
labelled with Obey draped in knickknacks.
Yeah.
These caps were
Oh
often
my.
brought down.
In the 5th grade, I used to have the snapback on my on the jeans. Oh my gosh, with a on the belt thing, I used to have that. Oh yeah, I ain't gonna lie, I used to think I was so clean
cover your
too. I
eyes
think
with
I was
photos,
clean,
which
but
were
I wish I had a
handy filters.
picture. I ain't
First
never
filters
took a
available
picture,
on
bro.
Instagram
Yeah.
or Tumblr. People don't really use these anymore when posting, but good lord were they popular back then. Scroll down far enough through anyone's account, without liking anything of course, and you'll find a world of yellow, grainy filters and
Hell
vignettes.
yeah.
Shutter shades were also pretty big at the time, with people like Kanye frequently wearing them.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway, swag was boosted along by artists like Lil B, who posted the song I Own Swag in 2012. The term, then, was rapidly becoming widespread, in tandem with the production of too many ridiculous caps to count. This entire trend produced
See,
some
I
of the most
fully know
bizarre
this. I fully know
of the
about this
21st
shit, though,
century.
bro.
Zendaya had some absolutely diabolical drip,
And she
Justin
had that
Bieber
shit
was
on.
straight up malicious.
That's-
Halfway through the decade, swag.
So they not drip? Hold on.
Diabolical drip, and just
So they not dripped right now? Jay not dripped right now? These niggas not dripped. They dripped out right now.
straight up malicious.
That's
Halfway
drip.
through the decade, swag.
That's
started
swag,
to
nigga.
spread.
That's swag.
And
See,
as
see,
the
in a
age
different era, we
less
say
and
drip now,
less
but
desirable. The word itself evolved to become more ironic, and was largely replaced by words like drip among younger generations. By 2013, the use of what is now known as Frutiger Aero had largely vanished.
Fuck is this, nigga?
For a time after its decline, a similar aesthetic became more popular in corporate design. This is referred to as Frutiger Metro.
Oh.
You might have seen it on your Xbox 360, CDs, or textbooks. At the time, this style marked the beginning of more flat and minimalist approaches to UI. After all, it gets its name from the Metro design language created by Microsoft. This emphasized simple
I ain't gonna
geometry.
lie, bro. I don't know what happened after this, bro. Niggas is not creative at all when it comes to design. Like, these niggas is bland. Look at when I like the fast food places. Like, look at Taco Bell. Like, these niggas, everybody done move backwards. Like, these niggas not
Shapes
creative no
absent
more.
of the glossy 3D look of the past. Windows 8 is a prime example.
TV
of
shows
this. With its
suck,
colourful
nigga.
selection
Like,
of tiles and icons.
they
The aesthetic
keep
is also known as flat Frutiger Aero, as it shares a lot of
remaking the
same
same
imagery,
fucking
but
movies
without
3
the depth
times.
and
Like, bro,
glossiness. When looking
make
at
some
these
new shit,
designs,
nigga.
you'll
Let
notice the
us
influence of speakers,
find some new shit to
dancing
like,
silhouettes
nigga.
and swirls of colour. It was pretty much the stock choice for making a product appear more interesting than it actually was. By slapping it on a CD or a poster, you could quickly add some vibrancy and energy. Much like Vaporwave, even it can be divided into smaller, equally recognisable categories. For example, Funky Metro, centred around instruments, DJs and dancing, is a lot different to Grungy Metro, which relates to scene and darker colours. Outside of its classifications, you could spot Frutiger Metro in a bunch of advertisements. This one for Nickelodeon is an interesting example, showing Jack Black amidst bright splashes of colour. Going as far back as 2004, we can find some of its earlier appearances, like
Yeah,
the
look
ad shown
fire.
here. You'll notice that, much like Frutiger Aero, nature still played a big role in these designs. When shown alongside technology, this was likely done to help it appear less intimidating and more accessible. By animating things like plants and dolphins, devices could feel less alien and more familiar. The use of this style today has been overwhelmingly shelved in favour of minimalism, meaning it kind of served as a transitional period between the maximalist aesthetics of the 2000s
Niggas suck
and the
now.
flat
Niggas
designs
is
of today.
niggas is, you know what I'm saying, bro?
Looking
Like,
at other videos we've done on this channel on the 90s and the 2000s, you can make out clear, long-lasting and distinct aesthetic styles. A lot of these were used by corporations.
I feel like 2000s though had the best style though, bro. I ain't gonna lie though.
Almost fantastical anticipation for the future.
Like
By the
dress and all
2010s,
that
this
shit.
future
I ain't
was
gonna
well
lie.
underway, and with it, the internet. If you weren't logged in at the start,
Niggas could say
you
90s though,
definitely were
but
before the end. And
I got
know this because you're
2000s.
watching this video. The number of people who are online more than doubled from 2010 to 2020, meaning that people's experiences of the world were increasingly informed by things on the internet. And so
Yeah.
the reason the 2010s looked like that is you. User-driven media like YouTube videos, Vines, Flash games, and memes sculpted millions of people's lives even outside of the internet. Simultaneously, this media started to become people's lives. Making videos with a shitty webcam was suddenly profitable, and the creation of content was something anyone could do. So while some of it may be cringe now, all of it played a role in creating what many consider to be the golden age of the internet.
Golden age. I ain't gonna lie, internet on fire right now. How it is. Only thing that's fucked up, like Twitter is like ass now, cause that monetization shit. Like niggas just bait niggas and rage bait and all that shit, but shit still, you know what I'm saying. But other than that, bro, if y'all fuck with this vid, like, subscribe, recommend me some more vids to watch, and I'm about to go watch the NBA game, nigga. Shit.